the last 4 months, made over $25,000 from my micro-influencer side hustle. And I've spent a total of $7,000 to get started. Hello, my lovely friends. Welcome. I'm Alexis Barber. I'm 22. I live in Brooklyn and I work full-time in big tech. I'm also a content creator focused on all things realistic fashion, finances, and career in New York City. So if any of that seems to interest you, please like and subscribe, as I have tons of content coming at you all the time. And follow me on Instagram and TikTok, where I post more of the same. I have been a micro-influencer for, 10 months now, and for about 4 of those months have I been actually making money. I had no clue the amount that I could make from just having a following of 8,000 on Instagram and recently 40,000 on TikTok. And I really wanted to be financially transparent, which is a big pillar of my brand, and talk to you about how much I spent and how much I made to make this money, as well as my process of coming to a place of turning this into a business and my strategy for doing that in the future. So I first want to talk about how much I spent, and this will go hand in hand with the process that I went through of figuring out that you could make money from influencing. When you start off with however many followers, it takes a long time to build a brand, and you need a certain amount of financial capital depending on what niche you are in to actually be able to build that brand. Now, this can come in the form of having free time. So if you're an influencer and you are focused on comedy, or you're focused on DIY projects, you need a certain amount of free time and therefore some other type of stable income in order to actually be able to make that content. But that is probably the lowest form of investment that you need if you have talents such as those. I'm not saying that you can't become an influencer if you don't have thousands of dollars up front. Absolutely not. However, if you are in the fashion and lifestyle niche, it does require a certain level of lifestyle aspiration and fashion aspiration that does cost money. And as someone who came from a very low income background where I couldn't really afford to buy the clothes that I wanted, and up until probably this year when I was making my own money, this is something that I wanted to be really honest about. So this video is not about how I became a micro-influencer or the tea behind being a micro-influencer. You can find both of those videos on my channel because I've talked about them before, but I did really want to jump into the finances here. So let's start with how much I spent to become a micro-influencer. Beginning with one-time costs, I ended up purchasing a Yeti mic as well as a website to start my podcast back in November of 2020. This is the first real investment I made in my business. I also didn't think of it as a business at that point. I had about 6,000 followers on Instagram, and I really liked bringing attention to important issues to me. And I have loved podcasts for a very long time and decided to get started with expanding my brand through podcasting. I ended up moving to New York City in December of 2020, and when I did that, that's when I decided to start my TikTok. Growing on TikTok has been, I think, such a big blessing for me, but it also was a ton of work. And I recently hit 40,000 followers on TikTok, and so it's been about 7 months of hard work posting almost every single day, and that's still it's gotten me to. When I decided to start growing my TikTok, I spent the first 2 or 3 months just doing vlogs, lifestyle content, etc. But then I really realized that the world was opening back up again and I had no clothes. I had moved 3 times in the last year and I did not know what I was gonna wear to go outside. So I decided that I would start doing size 6 realistic hauls for people who look like me, who are not people with abs, but they're not people who are a size 14 or a mid-size or plus size. So when I started doing that, I was shopping for things that I would genuinely wear, but having that upfront capital, which was something I had never really had before, was necessary in order for me to get started. So in total, I spent about $4,000 on buying clothes. I obviously returned a ton of them because if you've seen me in my hauls, half this shit doesn't fit. Some other big one-time investments I've made are courses. I think it's easier to learn things when you're doing them, but I do think courses can help if you're the type of person who likes structure. So I bought 2 courses about becoming an influencer, and one was from someone who I really admire, and the other was from holisticism, which I'm obsessed with. I love holisticism, and both were valuable for a short time, but I don't think they were worth the $1,300 each that I paid for them. I think it's easier to learn by doing as opposed to learning by watching someone like tell you exactly what to do, because figuring out your own brand for yourself is a lot more effective, in my opinion, than figuring out your own brand by someone telling you how to do it. I don't know. I don't like that I spent that much money on courses. I have a phone that I've purchased for the business, so I spent $1,300 on an iPhone 12, and that's a secondary phone in addition to my personal phone, and that's what I use for all my content creation. And that was probably my biggest secondary expense, and so I use it for YouTube videos, I use it for TikToks, all of that, and it's really important to have good technology like that. I had an iPhone 11, it was doing the job just fine, but I just wanted the camera on this one. At the end of the day, I spent a total of about $7,000 to get started on courses, on equipment, and on clothes to get started with everything. When it comes to monthly maintenance costs, there's also a little bit associated with that. I start with physical maintenance. I personally wasn't really able to afford getting nails, lashes, all that stuff done before I was making money from influencing. I spend money to get my nails done. I spend money to get my eyelashes done. I get facials. I also get waxes because I do swim halls and it makes me more comfortable. So I do think all those things add up, which comes out to be something like $400 to $500 a month. Then I spend about $500 to $700 a month on my actual technology behind the scenes of the business. So I have AppleCare, I have my website, which costs about $45 a month. I have Canva Pro, which is about $15 a month. I have a video editor, which is an incredible investment. I also pay for other things like access to certain websites and premium plans for things like Lightroom to edit my photos. So all in all, my monthly maintenance costs range from anywhere to $1,000 to $1,700 every single month. Now let's talk about the return on investment, because that's something that I was not prepared for, but is incredibly amazing. I'm very grateful for it. I had no idea that you could make this much money from having just 8,000 on Instagram and 40,000 on TikTok. I'm sure it'll change one day, but I'm just sharing my experience of how I've done this. So the first way I started to make money was by selling templates. So I had these incredible daily templates that I used to plan my day that I just created on Canva because I couldn't really find a great daily template. And I made those templates and started selling them on my Squarespace website for like $3 to $10 each. Then I moved into affiliate link. I got an Amazon storefront right when I started, and I make a consistent like $50 to $100 a month from that. It's really not that much money, but it is a great like passive income source. The same goes for Reward Style. So Reward Style is an affiliate linking program where you can essentially like link across tons of different retailers and get a small kickback for everything you've made. For example, I used affiliate links on all the stuff that's like in my apartment when I posted my apartment tour on YouTube. And so that apartment tour actually ended up getting something like 60,000 views on YouTube. So a ton of clicks were driven to that what's in my apartment list. And funnily enough, the highest selling item is like my trash can. Absurd. I checked my Reward Style the other day and there was like hundreds of dollars in there because a bunch of people ended up clicking on that. Or something like my couch. I love my couch so much. And this is $1,000. So if someone spends $1,000, a 1% kickback on that, I get like $42 anytime someone buys my couch. And so that's a really great passive income stream. And I do think that even though it's difficult to like link everything properly, it does show conversions, which is very important when you're pitching yourself to different brands. Say for example, I wanted to work with World Market. I could actually go to my Reward Style and click on the amount of people who've clicked on this couch, which is from World Market, and who've bought it, and go to them and say, hey, like I love your product so much. I have a few of them and I've linked them organically already. I'm getting 50 to 100 clicks on these and X amount of conversions. I think that our brands would really mesh well together. While I do think it's a lot of work, I think that it goes to show a ton of data as to like what you can really do as an influencer, because conversion is obviously king. The next way I started making money was through brand deals. So even though I had about 6,000 to 7,000 Instagram followers in February, I had only made $400 from brand deals because I didn't know what to charge. I didn't know what was out there. I was posting shit for free, which if you have over 5,000 followers, you should never be doing. It's super important for you to actually get paid for the amount of work you put into this. I mean, I spend at least 8 hours a day like working on my social media. I should be compensated for that. Even if creating content only takes you 30 minutes for a brand deal, in reality, you've spent hours and hours and years cultivating that audience. So that's really what they are paying for. It's not the amount of time that you actually spend making that content. And I really had to have that mindset shift because I was like, I don't deserve this money if it only takes me 30 minutes and I'm getting paid $1,000 for something. No, like you are spending hours and hours a day on this and you are putting your life out there. You are working so hard. That is what these brands are paying for. When it comes to brand deals, I've made almost $20,000 in the last 4 months from all of my various brand deals. I've been very, very blessed to work with brands like Nike, It Cosmetics, Warby Parker, and incredible brands that I'm truly in love with, and I'm super grateful for that. And a lot of it, I would say 90% of my brand deals are inbound requests. These are the brands reaching out to me. I didn't reach out to them. But when you do want to reach out to a brand, once again, it's very important to come to them with data, which is why I personally think it's important to collect that yourself. Making money from brand deals is the Wild West because there's no true transparent center of where you can find how much to charge. I had an incredible friend in the industry who really told me exactly what I needed to be charging. And when she told me, I was shocked. I had no clue. So the first big brand deal that I made, I reached out to her and I was like, hi, this brand reached out to me. It was a small business who was interested in partnering with me, but they didn't have a brief or anything. They just wanted me to come up with the idea of what the partnership would be. And she was like, oh, okay, so you can do Instagram stories for this much, one TikTok for this much, and podcast ads for this much. Ask for a 3-month contract. So that's the key, is to work with brands for a long time because it feels more organic to your audience, especially if it is something you use all the time. And you get paid a certain amount per month, which is a really incredible, great source of income. Put that offer in, completely not expecting for them to even respond to me. And they were like, great. And that's when I realized I can make thousands of dollars a month from influencing. And at this point, I had 12,000 on TikTok and 7,000 on Instagram. So ever since then, of all of my brand deals, about 90% of them have been inbound, meaning they reach out to me. But if you do want to reach out to a brand, you need to come to them with data. So in addition to providing the basic metrics like your audience size, your engagement rate, where your audience is located, if they're male or female, all of that type of thing, you also, when you're reaching out to a brand, want to show them why they should work with you. So the way I've done it, it's resulted in probably one successful brand deal. I don't really do a lot of outreach, honestly, because I have a good amount of inbound requests at the moment. I would say, hi, my name's Alexis Barber. I am a lifestyle content creator with an audience that is primarily New York City-based women on Instagram and on TikTok, a lot of young people across the world. I recently asked my audience what kind of clothes they wanted me to try on and from where, and I got an overwhelming response of over 1,000 responses requesting I try your brand. I recently did a haul that got X amount of views, and I do think that it would be a wonderful idea for us to partner together. So please let me know if you are interested in working together. If so, I would love to send over my media kit and we can discuss. I think that's what you need to do because, first of all, brands don't, your media kit is not the king. People spend all this time focused on what's my media kit, 90% of the time, nobody asks me for a freaking media kit. They can see the metrics online, they see what I do online, and it doesn't really matter, Don't focus too much on that. Do the outreach. If they ask for a media kit, find a template online and make one. So in total, over the last 10 months, and more specifically the last 4 months, made over $25,000 from my micro-influencer side hustle. The reason I think I was able to do that was I diversified my income sources. So I wasn't just focused on brand deals. Despite it making me the most money, I still have income coming in from affiliate links, from selling my own templates, and that type of thing. I diversified the areas that I spent my time on when it came to content. So I have a podcast, I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram. And by being able to put a bunch of time into building my TikTok, that's really where I've gotten a ton of engagement and action and discoverability. So I do think it's important to focus a lot of time there, because even though it might not be like a long-term focus, like the platform may not exist for a long time, it is making influencers. So I do think it's very important to spend time there, and that's something I think I'm very happy that I did, because if I had just focused on Instagram, I don't think I'd be where I am today. My advice for this is to focus on growing your audience first and building an engaged audience. I'm really proud that I have a very high engagement rate on my social platforms, and I think that's what really allows me to be honest about what I want and not settle for brands that just randomly show up in my inbox. You don't want to be that person who just does anything for a check, so do not say yes to brands that you're not obsessed with. And really know your brand pillars, so don't work with people who fall outside of those pillars. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen and watch this. If you want to know more behind the scenes about influencer stuff, definitely leave a comment down below. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask and DM me on Instagram, and I will be happy to take a look and answer them. That's all for now. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget, you are too smart to not love yourself.